world. And essentially we are the hub for all postgraduate administration in the college, including students who are registered to undertake a PhD, a research master's or an MD, as well as students who are doing a top master's degree. We'll provide you with support throughout your student journey, from answering questions on research training to annual progress and everything else in between. You'll be able to book appointments with us in the graduate school. We do appreciate over the last year, largely most of our team have been working from home. Gradually we're transitioning back to the graduate school office. So that will give you the opportunity to come in and visit with us and hopefully get a lot of information, useful information. Today, just a little bit of housekeeping. We're going to use the chat facility to allow you to ask us questions and to allow us to be able to share useful links with you. Today, you're also going to have the opportunity to meet your local postgraduate conveners in the Meet the Convener session. But first, you're going to receive a welcome from the PGR Dean, who is Professor Stuart Nicklin, and the Deputy Dean, Professor Helen Wheadon. I'm just going to very quickly put into the chat the graduate school's email address. So that's something that you will become very familiar with, hopefully, over the next few years that you're at Glasgow. That's the main route to contact us. And that's it, just in the chat now. So without further ado, I'm going to pass you over to Professor Nicklin and Professor Wheadon, and they'll tell you a bit about the graduate school. Okay.
Thank you, Leslie. Morning, everybody. Fantastic to see so many people on the call this morning. It really is a pleasure to be here. This is my first year as Dean of Postgraduate Research for the college. So it's my first opportunity to meet our newest intake of students here for their research degrees. Really excited to meet you all and speak to you this morning. I'm just going to share a few slides. And if somebody could let me know that they can see them.
Yeah, I can see them.
They can see them, great. Okay, so I'm going to just talk to you for a few minutes this morning. I can see there's a few more people joining, but hopefully everybody will be here before I get to the end of my little introduction. So welcome to the University of Glasgow. Welcome to the College of Medical, Veterinary and Life Sciences. Welcome to the beginning of your research journey on your research degree. And you've really come to the right place. So we're very excited to have you here at the University of Glasgow. We were the Times Higher Education University of the Year in 2020, and we're the Scottish University of the Year in the Times and Sunday Times Good University Guide for 2022. So you really come to the right place to begin your research career. We're in the top 1% of the universities in the world, and we're part of the Russell Group of Universities in the UK. This is the 24 most research intensive universities in Britain. So you really come to a great place to begin your degree. Hopefully if you're not in Glasgow yet, you'll be here soon because it's a fantastic city as well. So as well as enjoying everything the university, the college will offer you during your degree, Glasgow really is a fantastic city. We've got lots of culture, lots of eating out, lots of music, lots of museums, lots of history, and a big UK city that's also very close to the countryside as well, which means it's a fantastic opportunity to experience everything Scotland has to offer. You can get outside Glasgow within an hour, and you can travel to see the mountains of Scotland very easily, out to the coast, to see the coastline around Scotland as well. So really make the most of your time here. It's fantastic to have you. We're going to support you on your research degree, but you're going to get a life experience as well while you're here in Glasgow. And who are you all? So this might sound a bit strange. You know who you are. You're here to start your research degree, but actually you're a really broad set of students from all over the world. As Leslie said, you're here to do a research degree, and this is either a PhD, an MD, a Masters by Research. We've got a whole varied community of students who come here to start their research journey with us. And they're supported across a number of different ways of doing their research degree or PhD program. So you may be here as a UK student on a UK government scholarship, or through one of the many charities that support research in the UK. We have students who are coming here through EU funded programs from across Europe, as well as students that are working in partnership with industry, and a huge number of international students coming here with international scholarships or funding their research degrees. So we really are a hugely diverse community of students in Glasgow, and we're here to support all of you on your research degree. And you'll be doing that research degree across the College of Medical Veterinary and Life Sciences, and we're the largest college in the University of Glasgow. And our research is across a huge range of disciplines. They're represented in our 3 schools and in our 7 research institutes. This is where you'll be based when you do your research degree. In one of these units, you'll work with your supervisor within your research groups to conduct your research degree. And these areas and units where you do your research are also on different campuses across Glasgow, which the university runs. So Gilmore Hill campus is the main campus, and you can see it, the tower, the Gilmore Hill Tower, behind me in this photo here, and also behind Helen. Leslie's also got the cloisters from the University of Glasgow, which is from the Gilmore Hill campus, as her background as well. But there are other campuses across Glasgow that all of our research students have opportunities to go and work in. So they include Garskew Estate, which is just a few miles from Gilmore Hill, where there's a number of our research institutes and our School of Veterinary Medicine. There are also hospital sites where students do their research, as well as the dental hospital and school in the city centre, and also Glasgow Royal Infirmary. So it's a large campus on multiple sites spread across the city for you to do your degree. So what are we looking for from you from day one? So it's very simple. We're excited to have you here. We want you to be here to start your research and change the world. And to do that, we want your ambition, we want your enthusiasm, we want your curiosity to make new discoveries. And we're looking, of course, for some hard work to do that over the next few years while you're here with us on your research degree. And of course, to do that and be successful, then you're going to settle into our community. You're going to work in teams with other people in your research groups and with your supervisors in your institutes and schools. And you're also going to work independently on your PhD project or your research degree project in order to take that forward and make new discoveries. So we're looking for people that are going to be respectful of others, learn how to work well independently, and also, importantly, work well as part of a team in order to be successful. We're going to look for you to be really engaged with your supervisors, develop a good working relationship so that you can make a real success of your research degree. Those supervisors are there to support you. They'll be the people that are there day to day to help you design your project, progress your project. So work well with them and develop a good working relationship with them. And Helen will talk to you a little bit more about this in a minute. There are also some advisors of studies and the graduate school as well. And together with all these people, they're going to help you on your journey. They're going to help you with assessment, monitoring your progress and supporting you, making sure your training and development progresses well throughout your research degree. So you really got a big team. Starts with you and your responsibility as a student, but working with your supervisors, advisors, and the team across the graduate school, you can really be a success in your research degree. And you're an ambassador for the University of Glasgow, not only while you're here, but also when you leave, because you'll then be alumni of the University of Glasgow and really go out there into the world, showing what a research degree in Glasgow gave to you to take forward into your career. So we're going to support you in lots of different ways. We're providing a research training environment for you. This is really a world-leading research training environment at the University of Glasgow. We're providing all the facilities, resources, and expertise that you need to be successful in your research degree. So those opportunities are there for you. Those opportunities will include collaborating and networking, and this will be within your institute or school where you're doing your PhD, and much more broadly as your research develops, you get opportunities to go out to conferences and meet other researchers in your discipline all across the world. You're going to get research-specific training as well as broader training opportunities. So we're going to train you in research. You're going to become an expert in your discipline, but you're also going to get opportunities to do a much broader range of courses while you're here, and gain lots of skills you can then add to your expertise that will really support you and help you as you develop as a researcher and go on after your degree to the next stages of your career. And overall, we're going to provide you with a supportive and collaborative environment that allow you to develop. And really, this is just to say we're here to support you right from day one, right through until your graduation from your research degree at Glasgow. Leslie's already mentioned the graduate school. Here's a photo of the building, and as she said, this is the administrative hub that supports all the postgraduate level studies within the college. We're responsible for supporting you. We're responsible for your training and skills development, making sure that you progress well and are well supported in everything you do in your time with us. And there are about 1,000 students that the graduate school supports across our research degrees and also our taught master's degrees. So we really are part of a big community that the college supports through their studies. So who are the people you're going to meet while you're here on your research degree? So this is the academic team that really supports the graduate school. So there's myself as Dean of Postgraduate Research, and Helen, who you'll meet in a minute, who's the Associate Dean of Postgraduate Research. And then in each of the schools and institutes, there's a postgraduate research convener, and I know you're going to meet them later this morning. So these are really important people that are there as your local support within your institute and school throughout your research degree studies. Really, this is just highlighting the information flow and how we interact with each other to support you on your research journey. So in the university, there's a PGR executive. So this is the university level committee that all the deans sit on, that really oversee all the training and regulations for your research degree. And myself as dean sits on that committee with the other deans from the other colleges. And that provides the forum for providing the information that then comes down through all these other structures and people down to you. So this really ensures that all this information is seamless, and you get everything you need within your school and institute, and your supervisors too, in order to support you on your research journey. And as I said, later this morning, you'll get to meet these people in your breakout rooms. But that's just the academic team. There's a whole professional services team in the graduate school, and you're going to be likely to meet many of these people on your research journey. Then these are the really important people that really make the graduate school work and make everything work for you so you can be successful. So this includes overseeing registration, admissions, or your training requirements, support of your supervisors and postgraduate conveners, all the information they need. They manage various aspects of our different PhD programs. They look after the finance and everything really that's needed to make your research journey and your research degree run smoothly. And all the professional services team work really closely with all the academic members of staff that support your research journey. And so overall, this is how we're going to make sure that your research is successful in your time here with us. Few final things I'd just like to say before I finish and hand over to Helen. There are a number of guides that are really important on your journey during your research degree. So the first one is the PGR Code of Practice. I know this one says September 2020. The new one is about to launch. It had one I last checked the website on Friday. But this is a really important guide for you when you're on your research degree journey. So it covers all the important information you need to know about admissions and registration, supervision, training, your well-being, distance learning, your research progress, your thesis preparation, submission, and then your viva, and everything to do with the original outcomes that come out of your research, including publications, how to look after your research data, which is very, very important, and also any intellectual property. So really have a read of this guide. It contains all the really useful information you'll need as you go on your research journey. There's a focused MVLS version of the Code of Practice, and this just provides you some more updated information on what we do locally within the college graduate school to help you. So this can be read hand in hand with the overall university PGR Code of Practice. And the final guide I want to draw your attention to is the research training program and personal development planning. And personal development planning is a really important part of your research journey. It's something that you'll start to do with your supervisor very early in your PhD. It'll identify where your skills gaps are, where your training needs are. And this program provides you a handbook that shows you all the different courses and training opportunities that are provided to you while you're here on your research degree. So those are the three guides I want to draw your attention to. So I'm going to finish there and hand over to Helen. So I just wanted to say, welcome again. It's really exciting to have you all here. This is the start of your research training journey. The graduate school and everybody who's a member of that graduate school in both the academic staff team, the professional services team, we're all here to support you and make sure you're successful. Make the most of all the opportunities that you get while you're here for your PhD or your Masters by Research, your MD. Take ownership of your project, drive your project, and make sure that you develop really effective and successful working relationships during that research degree, because they will all help you be successful and go on to the next stages of your career. And your research degree that you leave Glasgow with really will provide you with all the skills and expertise you needed to embark on the next stages of your career. And we're always very excited when you complete your degrees, you go off from Glasgow to take the next stage of your career, whatever that is and wherever it is. And our graduates go on to do many things in many different countries in the world, and we're proud of all of them when they complete. So I'm going to stop there, stop sharing my screen, and pass on to Helen.
Hi everybody, it's so fantastic to see you all today, and like Stuart said, it's a really warm welcome, and we're really looking forward to interacting with you over the next 3 to 4 years, or 2 years, or 1 year, however long you are with us, but depending on your degree that you're doing. But yes, it's great to see you all. So I'm going to give you talk to you about your sort of studies, give you a brief introduction to some of the things that you need to be aware of. So I've got a few slides as well, so I'll just share the screen. Go back one. Okay, can everybody see that? You see that, Stuart?
No, it's not showing on my screen.
Oh. Try. Can you see it now?
No.
Okay, I'll put it on screen one and see if I can do it that way around. Sorry. Next year, or?
Yep. Oh, you've reappeared. You just your slides are there now, and you've reappeared. You disappeared for a second.
All right. Okay. Can you see the slides? Okay now. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's great. So yeah, I'm just going to introduce you to studies. So again, Stuart went over why you should study in Glasgow. So as your program, and we're part of the Russell Group, which is really research intensive. So there's sort of 24 cities in the UK and within the Russell Group. So we're renowned for our excellent research. We also have one of the broadest ranges of science programs within MVLS in the UK. So again, you know, you're in a really good college and you should really embrace the opportunities which will be offered to you during your studies. We provide a very supportive and encouraging environment for all our students, and our sort of student satisfaction rates are really high. We also have an excellent completion rate, which, you know, goes hands in hands with the support that we try to give to our students. So what's the difference really between a taught versus a research degree? Well, for one thing, there's no exact timetable. You know, you need to be self-motivated and plan your research and your experimental design with your supervisors, and, you know, make sure that, you know, your time management skills will develop during your studies. But again, you know, you haven't got classes per se. You'll be in the lab, or if you're doing a dry project, you'll be at your computer. But again, you know, there's no exact timetable that you will be following. You need therefore to be very self-motivated. So a full-time research degree requires a high level commitment from you. So your relationship with your supervisors will be really important, because you will have regular meetings with them to set your targets and to help you design what you're going to be doing. So these supervisor meetings will, you know, form the basis of what you're going to do next, and how you're progressing. So you'll be able to review what you've done and what you're going to do going forward. So you also require some self-reflection. So, you know, you need to analyze what you've been doing, see what's worked, what hasn't worked, you know, what problems you've encountered, and you'll be able to then discuss that with your supervisors, and that will give you a plan going forward as to what you're doing next. So your progress review is very crucial, and you'll be having an annual review each year, which we'll talk about in a minute. But again, you know, regular reviewing what you're doing with your supervisors will be very essential to your development. Your award will be based entirely on the quality of your thesis at the time, and, you know, there's a final deadline for your thesis submission, which I've put in the little table there. So these deadlines are really important, so you need to be aware of when you started and when your final deadline will be, because if you don't complete in time, then, you know, you will, you know, it could affect you actually getting your award at the end. So make sure you're aware of when you start and when your final deadline is going to be, and then you can work effectively towards your deadline. So what's the difference? What does a PhD or an MD or a MSc by research actually involve? So of course, centrally it'd be the experiments, the data collection, processing your data and analysing your data. But you also get some other skills. You'll be meeting your supervisor, you'll be reading the literature, you'll be doing quite a lot of critical thinking, you'll be getting quite a lot of training in technical and experimental techniques and design. You'll be doing quite a lot of studying and planning of your experiments. You need to be quite organised, but you'll also be doing other stuff as well. So, you know, later on, you'll be doing writing. You know, you start with your literature review, but you'll be doing an annual review each time, which takes the form of sort of scientific paper. And later on, you know, when you're a bit more advanced in your studies, you'll be writing abstracts for conferences, you know, and hopefully ultimately writing scientific papers for publication. And of course, the end result will be your thesis. But you also get the opportunity to go to conferences, so you present your data either orally or via a poster presentation. You have lab meetings where you also present. So like I said, you'll be developing your communication skills. So as well, so Stu's already shown you the handbook for all the training courses we provide. So again, you can engage with those both internally through the university, but also external courses as well. So we have a committee, a training committee, where you can apply for funding to do external courses. So if there's some courses which are really pertinent and important for you to be able to do your research, please don't be afraid, to sign up for them and apply for some funding to go on them, because again, that will really help you advance. You can also have the opportunity to do some demonstrating and teaching. So by the end of it, you should acquire a huge skill set and really develop as a person. And this will enhance your personal and professional development. So some of the things that you'll acquire will be laboratory expertise and critical thinking, but also, become very IT proficient. You'll be very good at handling data and analysing data. There's lots of courses available to enhance your statistical knowledge. There'll be a lot of communication and writing that you'll be doing. And hopefully, during your journey, your confidence and independence will really grow, that you'll be an independent scientist who's able to design and conduct, scientific thinking and experiments by the end of it. So, this is where your journey is going to go. So as we talked about before, your supervisory team is really crucial during your studies. So know who the supervisory team is. It's not just your supervisors. So for many of you, you might have one primary supervisor, but if it's a sort of interdisciplinary research studies, then you might have more than one supervisor. So again, know who your supervisors are. Your second supervisor might not be so heavily involved, but still keep them involved in what you're doing. And also, they can give you valuable insight into your studies as well. You also have 2 independent progress reviewers, assessors, who are part of your annual review process. So again, you'll meet with those academic members of staff, and again, they can give you valuable input into your studies and training. And postgraduate convener. They're a really crucial part of your supervision. So there's someone independent to your supervisors and your assessors who you can talk to about any problems you might have academically or personally, and they can give you advice and guidance, and also, point you in the right direction if you need further support. So never be afraid to talk to any member of your supervisory team. Open and clear communication is key to a good relationship, and this communication is essential for your good progress. So again, like I said, make sure you have regular meetings with them, and that you know who they are and who you can go to for support as and when you might need it during your studies. So on a daily basis, you might be working alongside somebody else from the research team. This might be like a senior postdoc or another researcher. However, you must also have these regular meetings with your supervisor. Just because they might not be in the lab with you, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be meeting with them on a regular basis. So this is more than a brief chat in the corridor when you bump into each other. You really need to make sure that you schedule meetings to discuss your project and your training. So I would advise you to make notes on what was discussed and decided, and then you can circulate them afterwards and agree with your supervisors as to the timelines and what you're supposed to be doing in the next period of study. So agree on the deadlines for your experiments in your written work. And then, next time when you actually meet with them, you can discuss what you tried to do, what worked, what didn't work, reasons why maybe something was a bit slower than you'd anticipated. This gives you a good basis each time for your meeting to actually progress yourself. Later on, you need to plan your thesis schedule and, discuss contingencies for any delays as early as possible. Something's not going to work, make sure, there's other avenues that you can explore to actually make sure that you're on track with your studies. So make sure you establish what the format and the frequency of your supervisory meetings will be early on. But these frequencies may change as your project progresses, as you become more independent and you're able to actually plan your experiments more easily. They might go from sort of weekly to 2 weekly, or maybe even later on in your studies, a larger meeting once a month. But, this will depend on what your needs are at the time of your studies. I think it's important that both students and supervisors are clear about the expectations of each other. For you, your research degree is everything that you think about. For your supervisor, they've got a lot of other commitments. So I think, it's very good to have these meetings and be clear about what the expectations from your supervisor is for you and what you want from your supervisors. Communication, like I said, is essential because they're going to guide you and look after you during your research studies. So make sure you take the initiative. Don't be told and wait to be told what to do. Make sure that you email your supervisor if you haven't had a meeting recently, and schedule one in their diary. They're busy people, so pin them down as to when they're free and make sure you do meet with them. So how will your progress be reviewed? Like I said, you will have an annual review each year. So in year one, if you're doing a PhD, there'll be an initial review when you meet your assessors, which, it's to make sure that you're okay and that you've settled in and everything's going on track. So by the time you have this meeting, which is usually about 3 months in, you will have done your training needs assessment with your supervisors to work out what training you're going to do. And hopefully by this time you will have done your literature review as well. So you will have done your background reading and written your literature review. So you've got a clear idea about the background to your project and the literature in the field. And then you'll have an annual review at 9 months. In year 2 and 3, you just have the annual review, and at approximately like 27 months, or sort of an equivalent stage if you're part-time, you need to have an outline thesis plan written as well. So for part-time students, you need to agree your review time points for your supervisory team and your PGR convener. So who's actually involved in your reviewing? So you will be to start with. So you do your written reports, and there's on the online system, there's a self-assessment. So things to think about, this is a confidential review process. So things to think about when you're doing your self-assessment are, am I progressing the way I should? Do I have enough data? How's my training going? Am I getting the support I need? Am I meeting my agreed targets? Are there any obstacles that are slowing my progress? Once you've done your self-assessment, the supervisor will give some feedback on your reports to you, and they will also assess your progress. So they'll be looking at the standards and the amount of experimental work that you've achieved, how your written work's going, and what skills you've acquired during that period of time. You'll then meet with your reviewers, so they will look through your written report and they will meet to discuss your progress. Again, they will not only be looking at your experimental work, but also how you're progressing as a person and, what skilled trainings you've attended and how you're progressing. And, again, if there's any obstacles which are hindering your progression or any problems, again, this is the time to actually discuss them with your reviewers. When that's all done, the PGR convener will then recommend you for progression into the next year. And the reason we have this each year, it's confidential and it's there to support you. So please engage in it. It's there to identify if there are any problems, what they are, what solutions we can put in place for you to actually support you. It's no point just sitting in silence, if you are struggling in any way. We want to know so that we can actually put in a plan, to actually support you and help you on your journey. We don't want any of our students not to complete in time. So, if there are any problems, we'd like to know about them early on, because the earlier we know, the earlier some support can be put in to help you. So if you go onto the graduate webpage, there's a section on the annual review progress, a PGR progress review, and there's loads of details there. So you can have a look and familiarize yourself with it. And it is your responsibility to know what is involved with this and to actually engage with the graduate school review progress. So process. So again, you know, the website will tell you quite a lot of information. There's a lot of online resources available to you to give you support during your studies at Glasgow. So your first point of call will be the MVLS Graduate School and the team that are there to support you. But again, there's other resources as well. So we have a Moodle site, which is called the PGR Den. Again, this is a virtual learning environment, but it has a lot of useful information on there. There's a lot of the presentations we'll put up there, but there's a lot of information there which are really fundamental to your studies. So again, I would familiarise yourself with the PGR Den. The IT service website is again has a lot of support for you. There's a VPN to access journals from your computer at home. You can also get the wireless access Eduroam as well, so that you can get Wi-Fi on campus. There's a mobile room finder as well, so you know if you're having to go to different courses and stuff, you'll know where you're going. And the library as well has a lot of help for you. Additional support, like I said, the graduate school PGR team and your convener are there to support you. There's effective learning at the language centre as well that you can access. The fellow students, so you'll be part of a community and cohorts within the graduate school. So again, there's also external things that the university run, the social events, club societies, sports and recreation services, to engage with those. The university website has lots of advice on being a student in Glasgow. We have quite a lot of international student support as well. There's an international family network as well for students who've come with their families. We have a really good university counselling service. There's disability services as well. But I would also, for international students, make sure that you've registered with a GP, with a doctor, as soon as you can as well, because in case you need them in the future. So again, if you go onto the University Human Resources website, there's an information for students section again. So this tells you, gives you quite a lot of help and advice, and shows you what support there are for different students. So again, I would engage with that and have a look to see what's available to you. And that's me finished. But again, I'd just like to really welcome you and really hope that your experience at Glasgow is fantastic and you enjoy your studies with us.